4 are all what you would call the perfect players. They're brilliant at everything. They're the best players in the world in this game. And today we're going to see how that affects Benevento over a 3-year period. So if we look at one of them, for example, this is IM200. They're all called IM200, but they are the perfect players. They're brilliant in every single area. They can play anywhere across the back four. We can play as a right back, a left back or a centre back, so they can all interchange if need be. And they're all on future transfers to Juventus. They can't go anywhere over the 3-year period, and every single one of these players has the exact same attributes. They're the best 5 players in the game, and we're just going to see how it improves Benevento as a whole, how far they can rise up the table, if they could even challenge for Serie A. I don't know, but obviously it's going to be interesting because there's a complete contrast between the defence and the attack, because the midfield and the attack are still, one of the poorest in the league, but they've got the best defence now. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how far they actually move up. So here you can see like a great overview of how the teams are going to line up. So Benevento are generally going to play a 4-3-3 formation, and as you can see, they are fully integrated into that back 5. So a really, really solid back line, but everybody else, as you can see, is just as you were in the Benevento squad. So yeah, like I said, one of the poorest midfields in the league, one of the poorest attacks. So it might get to a point where they're not conceding many goals, but they're not scoring any either, and we just have to see how that weighs out in the table. And as you can see, they all get into the media's Dream 11 at the start of the season by a long way. So you've got 5 Benevento players in there already, and then a mix of the kind of players that you would expect. So Benevento are expected to finish 7th. Now they've got this new defence. They're expected to finish 7th. They're 20-1 on for the title, behind the Big 6, as you would say, and then quite a way ahead of Fiorentina. So they're not expected to be in a relegation fight. I imagine the first season they'll finish somewhat mid-table. I reckon maybe, I don't know, about 9th or 10th, maybe just sneak into the top 10. We'll wait and see, and then maybe as the seasons go on, they'll start to buy better players and improve as a whole, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we're going to holiday our first season now and take a look at where Benevento managed to finish with their newly found defence. Okay, so season 1 is done and Benevento finished 4th, qualifying for the Champions League. They finished on 68 points, 19 wins, 11 draws and 8 defeats from 38 games, 40 goals scored, which is very, very low for a top team, and 26 conceded, which is also low, so both columns quite massively low. As we would expect, only Juventus and Milan conceding more goals. Unfortunately, they were knocked out in the 4th qualifying round by Hellas Verona, so very, very good in Serie A, unfortunately not so good in the Italian Cup. And if we look at how they got on average rating wise, IM200, the centre back, got a 7.84 average rating, scoring 6 goals throughout the season. The right back scored 3, he got 7.86. The other centre-back didn't score, he got 7.66, and the left-back got 1 in 36, and the goalkeepers always seem to be ridiculously lower, and it's kind of unfair on them, really. If you look at the average rating in terms of the whole league, IM200, yeah, they're all called IM200, he got 7.86, one of them got 7.82, and then the other one got 7.73, and then 7.66, and then the goalkeeper making up the top 10 is so confusing when they all have the same name, but they all made it into the top 10. And then transfers didn't bring any players in. I imagine what they'll try and do is they'll try and offload players just to keep the, just to ensure that they can pay the 200 players' wages, because I noticed that on a couple of other experiments. And then if we look at the general information of the club, they started with a 3-star reputation. I probably forgot to show you that. They've kept that 3.5-star reputation. They're now rich financially. Roberto De Zerbi is still in charge. They play at a 25,000 capacity stadium, and the captains and all vice-captain and key players, they're all IM200, as you kind of expect, really. I know that was kind of a dodgy first season, it was a bit scatty, so I apologise if I didn't go into a massive amount of detail, and yeah, I know that wasn't really a great explanation. I'll try and go into more detail in season 2, but that was a very brief guide Benevento finishing in 4th place, qualifying for the Champions League. Obviously we'll have a Champions League to look at next season, so we're going to holiday one more season. I know the first season was brief, so I do apologise for that, but we will go into a lot more detail in the second season. So we're going to holiday once again and take a look at what's happened here on. Okay, so second season down, and it hasn't quite gone as well this season for Benevento, finishing in 6th place, still qualifying for the Europa League, but not quite a top 4 finish. I mean, to be fair, they're only 3 points behind Inter Milan, who finished in 4th. He had 63 points, 18 wins, 9 draws and 11 defeats from 38 games, again scoring 40 goals, this time conceding 30. So yeah, they're still not shipping many goals, as you would expect with the world's best defence, but they're not scoring many either, and that might just be costing them vital points. But they're still in and around the top 6. They're still, competing with the likes of Inter and Lazio, even if they're quite away off of the top 3. So it was Napoli that actually won the title in the second season by a point from AC Milan, and then Juventus finishing 3rd. So it's a really, really close title race there, but Benevento finishing in 6th place in the second season. Okay, so if we look at the competition overview, we're going to go into greater detail in a minute. So obviously they finished 6th in Serie A. They qualified for the Champions League. They qualified for the group stage, but they were unfortunately knocked out in that group stage, and then they reached the Italian Cup semi-final, unfortunately knocked out by Juventus. So no trophy win yet either, but a decent showing in the Italian Cup, and considering that there's only their first appearance in the Champions League, they did pretty well to get through to the group stage in the first place. So we'll see how they got on now. So they finished 4th in their group, as you'd kind of expect, winning 1 game and losing 5. Their victory was against Galatasaray by 2-0. So yeah, knocked out quite convincingly. I mean, to be fair, they had a bit of a group of death. They got Real Madrid and Dortmund, who seem to be together quite a lot in real life as well as in game. So Real Madrid and Dortmund predictably going through. Galatasaray struggled as well, and then Benevento finishing 4th. So they didn't really disgrace themselves. At least they picked up a Champions League win, which they could tell their computerised grandchildren in 50 years' time. And they lost 2-1 on aggregate to Juventus in the Italian Cup. They were 1-0 up from the first leg, but goals from Spagnoli and Douglas Costa sent Juventus through to the final and ensured that Benevento would not be able to compete for a trophy. So look at the best 11 from this season. The goalkeeper only got a 7.11 average rating. The right back got 7.6. The centre backs got 7.63 and 7.61 respectively. But the left back was the player of the season with 7.65. He got 3 goals. Both the full backs got 3 goals, and both the centre backs got 2 goals. So they contributed to 10 goals between them, which is a pretty great effort. If that was I know it's in overall competition terms, but 10 goals was like a quarter of their league total. So that's very interesting. The rest of the team not really performing. Their lead striker Alexander Isak, he only got 4 in 22. Luca Mazzatelli got quite a few from midfield, but apart from that, not a lot of the other players really pulling their weight. So in terms of transfers, they bought 1 signing in, that was Memushai, or 1 paid signing in, should I say. Memushai from Pescara for 725 grand. The rest were loans, but they got quite a couple of decent loans in. They got Alexander Isak on loan from Dortmund, Cornet on loan from Lyon, Kennedy from Chelsea as well, and Federico Ricci, who I think is Christina Ricci on my Crotone save on my main channel, I think. Each joined on loan as well, so they made quite a few decent loan signings, I have to say. They sold Cicciaretti to Napoli for 3.1 million, and they sold quite a few players actually. They then sold Memushai on in January, so they bought him from Pescara, and then they sold him to Las Palmas. But they made 5.5 million, but I imagine a lot of that money, like I said last season, is going to go to paying the 200 players' wages. So in terms of the average ratings across the entire league, one of the 200's got a 7.69, topping it, he got 10 Player of the Match awards in 38 games. So fair play. We've got 3 between 4th and 6th. One got 7.65 and the other got 7.62. So I think the IM200 at the top is the left back, and the goalkeeper doesn't even get into the top 10 or anywhere near the top 10. I think goalkeepers are so underrated in terms of their average ratings. I just think they're really, really harshly treated in that respect. But 4 players in the top 6, that's a pretty decent effort. And just looking at the general overview for Benevento, they're now 3.5 star reputation. They've got a national reputation now. Financially, they're rich. They made quite a few million during the summer. Roberto De Zerbi still in charge, and various amounts of IM200s take up the captain, vice captain, and key player roles still at the same stadium. So the only thing that's really changed is the reputation, going from 3 star to 3.5 stars. So we can see next season, the last season of the experiment, if they could get up to 4 stars or maybe even beyond that. I highly doubt that, but we'll see. But that brings us to the end of the second season, so I hope that we're able to go a bit more in depth in the second season. So Benevento slipping from 4th to 6th. They've got one last chance to try and better themselves. I don't think a title challenge is going to be viable, but if they could get themselves back into the top 4, that would be a fantastic effort. So let's holiday one more season and see where they ended up. Okay, so season 3 is done and Benevento have slipped even further. They finished 10th this season on 55 points, 11 points off of Inter Milan in 4th, who I think finished with 66 points last season. They've done it again. So 14 wins, 13 draws and 11 defeats from 38 games, 39 goals scored, 31 conceded. So the defence a little bit more sloppy this season, and the attack less potent. So Benevento are starting to slip down the table despite being able to buy better players, which is quite interesting. So Benevento slipping for the second season in a row. Juventus reclaimed the title by quite a way from Napoli in 2nd, AC Milan in 3rd, Inter Milan in 4th, and Spal, Crotone and Pescara getting relegated to Serie B. In the other competitions, they made it to the second knockout round of the Europa League, which is a fantastic effort, to be fair, but they were knocked out by Inter Milan, and then they made it to the quarter-final of the Italian Cup. Not quite as good as last year. They were knocked out by Roma, and the competition was won by AC Milan. So on the whole, I'd say a pretty disappointing season, a decent run in the Europa League, but no trophies yet again, and a fairly average Serie A finish. So it was quite comprehensive in the end. They lost 4-1 on aggregate. They did draw the second leg 1-1, but Inter Milan won the home leg 3-0 to make sure that they progressed through. So a decent run in the Europa League, certainly further than they'd gone in any European competition before. Obviously they finished 4th in their Champions League group, so they went out of it straight away. But to get to the second knockout round with a pretty poor midfield and attack, that's not too bad. Well, this was quite interesting. Benevento losing 11-10 on penalties to Roma. It was 1-1 after extra time or after full time. I don't know if they go straight to penalties. And yeah, quite an intriguing shootout. But Benevento on the losing side, unfortunately, by 11 penalties to 10. We're getting on to the best 11 a little bit late, but the goalkeeper got 7.28, the right back got 7.84, the left back got 7.81, and the centre backs got 7.61 and 7.60 respectively. So the 2 full backs having outstanding seasons again. The left back scoring 3, the central defender scoring 3 each as well. The right back only getting 1, but putting in the best performances to give himself a 7.84 average rating. The squad, Hendricks had an alright season, 7.11. Jadon Sancho had a 7.03. Dominic Solanke they're starting to sign decent young players, to be fair. Well, any argument I had about Benevento saving money has been completely blown out of the water, because they spent 30.5 million in the summer. Augustinsson coming from Werder Bremen for £22 million. Skorupski coming from Roma for 1.9 million. The rest of them are loan fees. Hendricks from Napoli and Dominic Solanke, Jadon Sancho, they're the ones that stand out. So they spent £30.5 million. They recouped 1.3 million of that. Di Chiara went to Udinese for just over £1 million, and Lucioni went to Lecce. So a few deals going on here and there, but that argument I had about Benevento saving money to pay the players' wages has been proven to be completely wrong, which is just what you love to see. Player player stats. I think for the first time in this experiment, the defenders, should I say, have taken the top 4 spots. The left back, the right back got 7.84, then the left back got 7.81, and then the defenders who got 7.6, 7.57. The goalkeeper nowhere to be seen. I think he only got 7.0. I should know. I only looked at it a minute ago, but I don't. But the defenders taking the top 4 spots, which is awesome. We haven't really looked at the team stats because Benevento haven't really been anywhere near the top of them, but they did have the most passes completed, which I thought was a nice little thing to see. It's not relevant to this experiment, but Benevento are top of a list, so I thought I'd show you that. So that is going to bring everything to a close. That is what happens when you give Benevento the world's best defence. They qualify for the Champions League in the first season. They don't do particularly well in the Champions League, and they gradually slip down the table throughout the 3 seasons. So it's weird. I didn't expect the downward curve. I expected it to go gradually upwards. I expected them to gradually get better, but it worked out the other way. They had a brilliant first season. They did okay the second season, finished 6th, and they slipped down the third season and finished 10th. So it went the complete opposite way to the way that I thought it would. But that's what happens. That's part of an experiment. That's why you test things out. So that is going to bring it all to an end. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please leave a like on it if you did. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. Comment below any thoughts or suggestions you may have. If you'd like to go and check out my social medias and my other channels, the links to those will be in the description below. But thanks once again, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.